Welcome, everybody. I would like to call this regular meeting of council on May the 2nd, 2023 to order at 7 p.m. We'll stay seated for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Is there any, we'll start with the mayor's address. So during the month of April, I attended 15 meetings on county and/or municipal business. On behalf of council and myself, I want to thank Michelle Mandefell, our municipal manager, and her staff for the preparation of the 2023 municipal budget. This was a challenging budget as a result of inflation and supply chain delays for materials and supplies. On April 27th, 2023, the clerk treasurer and all of council attended the AMO Asset Management Workshop at the Eagle's Nest in Eganville. This was an excellent presentation, which emphasized the importance of the asset management plan and a long-term financial plan, making decisions on the delivery of services and capital improvements. The spring freshet continues as the snow melt in our region is nearly finished. Round Lake water levels have peaked and are starting to decline, and Golden Lake levels peaked on April the 28th, 2023. Renfrew Power Generation is continuing to monitor water levels as weather reports are indicating significant rainfall this week. Falls River Water Management Plan final implementation report has been posted on the RPG website, and a copy is attached to the agenda as information. The proposed changes the province is planning for the provincial planning policy will result in more changes and updates to the County of Renfrew and municipal official plans. A summary of these changes and the impact to the county planning is included in the agenda as information. And there certainly is a lot of reading there. So I have a motion that the May 2nd, 2023 mayor's address be accepted as presented, moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Ricky Pinto. Are there any additions, corrections, or omissions? Are there any comments? Seeing none, then call the vote. Councillor Burns? Yes. Councillor Buckwell? Yes. Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Pleasure carried.
Yeah.
Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, now we will move to the adoption of the minutes for March 7th, 2023, Committee of Adjustment minutes. The March 27th, 2023 special budget minutes. The April 17th, 2023 special budget minutes. And one that had been missed from previous years was the November 30th, 2020 special fire department minutes. And I got a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Buckwald, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Are there any additions, corrections, or omissions? Seeing none, Councillor Burnt? Yes. Councillor Buckwald? Yes. Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld?
Yes.
And yes, that's carried. Thank you. We have no delegations, so we will move on to reports. Item 7.1, I have a motion that council accepts the report as presented, and further, that council directs staff to implement the recommendations, and that staff draft the social media policy to be presented at a future council meeting. And I'm gonna move in a second, moved by Councillor Berg, seconded by Councillor Buckwell. Comments or questions? Councillor Ray Jonko?
A couple questions. Who does the posting for our different social media platforms? Is it a variety of staff or a variety of staff? And then, it talks about responding. Who's responsible or who does respond to the various, social media questions?
Well, normally, if they send a question through the messenger, I will look at it and then ask whoever needs to respond to it. To do this, it can be any one of us. It's something that's probably going to go with every post.
Okay, and so then, how do you think this new, procedure would save time?
Well, people can click directly through the link to our service tracker and put in their request to the service tracker and choose the person it's to go to.
Okay. Because I'm just trying to figure out how that would work. So if I sent you a message on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, right, then there would be a pre-populated response.
We can use that, or I could respond and just say, please, send your question to, say, if it was something the Cameron would be responsible for answering.
And just to make things like more efficient, I know the job descriptions maybe aren't totally done yet. Is that maybe one person's job in their job description is reporting and recording and doing the social media?
We do have that included in the job description, yes.
Yeah, thanks.
Councillor Berg?
I heard there's lots of comments on Facebook, and I never go on Facebook about how bad our roads are. Is that why this policy is going to be taking place?
There's a multitude of comments about different things,
Okay,
yeah, and we just feel it's not always something easy to respond to, so just having direction of where they can send their comments or questions would make it easier.
No, if anybody calls me, I call them, call the township office, because everything is on service track.
Yes, we do put it through service
Yeah.
director when they call,
Yeah.
but this allows them to do it themselves.
Okay,
And I think that's what brought this about, is having an automatic direction on the social media so that it'll encourage them to go right to service tracker to put in their comment or complaint. And, or if they need to speak to somebody directly, it can give them that option to make that connection. Any other comments? Seeing none, Councillor Burke,
yes.
Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
yes,
Councillor Ricky Soko,
Yes,
yes, that is carried, thank you. Item 7.2 is in regards to the quarterly news. I have a motion that council accepts the quarterly news 2023 report is presented and further provides direction to staff regarding printing and delivery of the quarterly news in 2023. Get a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Burt. Comments, questions? Councillor Ricky Schonfeld.
so I'd still like to just go with the 2 a year, and I think then, of course, we have to change the name. And the other thing too was at the meeting or the workshop we were at, she talked about how there has to be a number of different communication tools. So the quarterly news is one way and our social media is another way. I mean, we've talked about it before during COVID, the ads in the paper that Whitewater was running, that's another way. And I think the whole idea is we're supposed to be able to show the township residents what we're doing with the monies we're collecting, right? And so, I mean, we can do the recreation part of it and quarterly news and explain what's going on in our township, that's good, but we can also talk about what roads we're doing and what rolling stock we're purchasing and items like that.
I kind of like the quarterly newsletter, and I know staff did some checking with, I believe it was KHR. And their budget line item is about the same as what we're spending on our quarterly newsletter. I think they do theirs bi-monthly. But they also get a lot of ads. I'm not sure if they're getting sponsorship through those ads or if they're just providing free advertising, but we could look at maybe looking for some sponsorship through some of the ads. It's a thought. Councilor Robinson?
I believe we also talked about looking at the type of printing and I'm not sure if that was in the actual report. I don't have it in front of me. Because we were concerned about the price, and we said that we would reduce the quantity as well as look at the type of printing paper.
Yeah, can we bring up the report? I think in the report, it indicated that even if you reduce, because you get a discount on the bulk numbers.
Right.
If you reduce the number of copies, you're gonna pay more. So you don't necessarily reduce the cost of sending out the newsletter.
Right.
Councilor Richardson?
I mean, one problem too is the fact that in my end of the township, we're not getting them, right? So I'm still just wanting to go with 2 newsletters. It would be nice if everybody in the township was able to receive those 2 newsletters. I'm not really in favor of, you know, going back to what we had and going against what budget line we set and adding to it.
Councilor Burke, did you have your hand up?
I like the quarterly, but because you gotta let people know what you're doing in the township. You know, you gotta show them you're doing stuff. You know, events coming up is in there. You know, they are really good outfit.
Councilor Buckle?
I like the quarterly as well. It may not need to be possibly as many pages or maybe a different format that may improve our pricing. But I'd like to see it. Quarterly would be nice. I could live with 3, but I don't think I'd want to go down to 2.
Yeah.
Councilor Robinson?
Yeah, I think I would like to leave it at quarterly. Maybe we look at other options as Mayor. You indicated seeing if we can probably offset some of the costs with advertising or some other options to reduce the cost.
I wonder if I could suggest then, one of the options is to move 4,000 from the tourism initiatives. That would allow us to see whether or not we can get some ad sponsorship to offset the cost of the publication, but it would give us a trial period where we could do that, and then we could take another look at it in 6 months or a year. Councilor Richardson?
Do we not have a budget line though of $4,000 to start with? In our budget, we did budget $4,000, right?
So yes, we did budget, I believe it was for $4,000 or $5,000. However, our original budget line, I believe, was $9,000.
That's right, and reduced it, right?
And reduced it. So the cost to provide it through the tour newsletter was closer to $9,000.
Right. I would still just feel comfortable going with what we had as our budget line. We did discuss that, and maybe what we have to do is look at that $4,000 and be more creative with it. You know, whether maybe it's not a glossy, maybe not every quarterly is a glossy one, maybe only one is a glossy one, or Christmas is a glossy one. I mean, if we wait a little, if we put one out, I mean, it gives staff a chance to look for, advertisers that may want to go on the publication. I just don't want to move that over. I don't think everybody's getting it. And so then I'm feeling like we're missing out on some of the other residents. And every tax bill that goes out, we do have information about events and stuff in that tax bill and that insert, right?
And this question for staff, is it going to be, or is it already available online? Or I know that's something that Cameron was considering doing too, is putting it out electronically.
For this latest one, she does have it on our Facebook page and has sent out a connect reminder. I'm not sure if we put it on our website or not, because we'd have to link to the Facebook page.
Right.
It's just the format it's in, it's a little more difficult to put it on.
And I like your idea, Mayor Rose, is, we should have businesses in the township advertise on it for $25, you know, that would be good show and tell.
Yeah,
You know, I'm pretty sure my brother would put an ad in there. Because he's running quite a little business there.
right. Might be worth a try, so. I guess I'm looking for direction.
Yes. Looking for direction.
Councilor Robinson.
Would agree with Councillor Reike Schoenfeld in that we leave the budget line for 1,000 and revisit it, if nothing else, in 6 months.
Okay. But the plan would be to still continue with quarterly and revisit it in 6 months, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, so you're making that a motion?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You have a seconder, Councilor Buckball. Call the vote, Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckball,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yeah,
Councilor Reckerson.
Yes,
Yes. Does that work, or do we need a separate motion?
Or is that
So the original resolution was that council will accept the report as presented and further provide direction to staff regarding printing and delivery of the report meetings in 2023. So we have to provide their direction, we'll include the direction as opposed to from the minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Then that's carried. Item 7.3 then is the Lake Dory Lodge rental form. I have a motion that council approves the Lake Dory Lodge rental fees as described in the draft rental agreement form, and that staff provide a complete rental agreement including terms and conditions at the May 16th, 2023 regular meeting of council. Can we bring up the form as well, please? Can I get a mover in a second here, and then we'll open for discussion, moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Buckle. Comments? Councilor Reckerson.
just a little bit in that one where it talks about, I get the home insurance and all that other stuff, but the driver's license plate, and total number of cars during the rental. Could there ever be a time when there is nobody that has a driver's license or license plate renting it?
It probably would be unusual if that was to happen.
But I mean, if that were to happen, they're still gonna be allowed to rent it, right? I can see the total number of cars and, like, do you know, like, whose driver's license and license plate, the person that takes it out, it's not necessarily the family.
So usually it's the person that signs the application.
So, okay, but I mean, there could be a chance that somebody doesn't own their own car. Do that. I'm just saying, I guess then you put an NA or you do
We
something.
would deal with that situation if it was private, yes.
And I don't know, when you say total number of cars at the cottage during the rental, that could be a tricky one too, because of the total number of people that I think that are gonna stay there, but maybe I have a birthday party and there'll be another 10 cars there.
Is there gonna be a maximum number? Will we,
Yes, so you look, so 8 is the maximum overnight occupancy of the cottage,
Right,
so,
but I mean, we just,
and the limit of 10 people per day use. So that would limit your vehicle.
what was that again?
So 8 is the maximum overnight
Right,
occupancy, and there's a limit of 10 people per day use.
and so that would indicate no more than 10 vehicles or,
Yes, if they all throw they go.
but if they have visitors during the day, you're gonna end up with more than,
Well, I'm just wondering how it came up with 10 people per day use. Because if you have something like a family reunion or something like that, that normally rents the property, there's gonna be way more than 10 people on site.
where is that?
Right.
Third page.
Third page,
Yeah, for sure.
or,
Or sorry, maybe it's the 4th page.
I paid, when I made it smaller, I said there's a limit of 10 people per day use, that's where.
Yes.
Okay, I guess I never checked that out because of that big box there. Gotcha.
I guess my question is, then is there, would we allow more vehicles if it's a 1 day or like a family reunion? As opposed to somebody who's renting for 3 or more days?
It's something we'll have to look at. Because there is limited parking at the cottage, so we have to balance the two.
We don't have like a little box they could check out where it would say just for rental, or are you planning on having a birthday party or something like that? There's nothing that, but there's no descriptor or anything like that. I'm just thinking, sometimes when people do rent someplace on the lake, there is sometimes a party.
So it does say number of people attending.
Yeah, go ahead.
This resolution is basically just to approve the fees. We know that the
Okay.
whole form needs to be revamped. There was just a couple of forms that have been used in the past. And we thought, well, we really need to get these fees out so we can start rentals. There are going to be different, because we're renting it in different ways. If you look on the chart, because there's the main hall and the lounge, so that might have some different terms and references compared to the full building.
Okay.
So if we can start with fees, then we can build in the rest.
Councilor Barclay.
So are we still going to have a separate rental form then for the ball field and such? Okay. So this is strictly for
This is strictly for the lodge.
the lodge itself, okay.
Councilor.
And I heard a guy talking about, he has some kind of lodge or cottages, and he had no ruling like how many people can be there. They would rent the cottage, and 8 o'clock at night, there'd be 5 cars or just 10 cars pull in and stay at the cottage all night and party. So he had to put the same ruling in for that reason.
Right. So any other comments on the fees? Is council okay with the fees that are there?
Yes,
No, I am okay.
fine.
So I'll call the vote. Councillor Burns.
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes,
Councillor Ricky Chantal.
Yes,
And a yes. So that's carried. Thank you. Item 9.1 are the non-action correspondence items. I have a motion of council accepts correspondence items 9.1.1 to 9.1.5 as information. I gotta move over to seconder, moved by Councillor Buckwell, seconded by Councillor Ricky Chantal. Councillor Burns,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
yes,
Councillor Ricky Chantal,
yes,
and a yes. Very, thank you. Item 9.2.1 is the Antique Car Club of Pembroke. I have a motion that council agrees to provide free use, if weather permits, of the Lake Dory Ball Diamond to the Antique Car Club of Pembroke for a maximum of 3 hours on September the 10th, 2023. Providing the club completes a rental agreement stating that any repairs or damages caused to the ball field and surrounding track are the responsibility of the club, and that such repairs must meet the approval of Public Works. And I'm gonna move in a second and moved by Councillor Buckwell, seconded by Councillor Burns. Comments, questions? Councillor Ricky Chantal.
and that little ad with the car and stuff, we always let the property clean and tidy. I'm just wondering, should we say something that they're responsible because it's for free? That they're responsible for their litter? Like taking it away, I'm just thinking that's one last job Public Works has to do. I mean, if we're giving it to them for free and they're an organization, I don't think they should have a problem with that.
I certainly would agree with that. My thought was even, should we be charging a fee or even just maybe asking for a donation?
Michelle.
I was expecting we could include that in the rental agreement, but they signed.
I'm not sure when they were at the Rankin Community Center if they were charged or not. Yeah, I mean, it does kind of highlight Melissa Bishop Park and the lodge, and it's good here.
It is a good draw of
That's right.
residents, yes.
And to me, if the ball diamond wasn't being, and if they're picking up after themselves.
Okay, so I'll call the vote. Councillor Burns,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
yes,
Councillor Ricky Chantal,
Yes,
and a yes. Carried, thank you. Item 9.2.2 is the Courageous Companions of Canada. And motion of council purchases a business card size advertisement in the Courageous Canine magazine at a cost of $295 plus tax. And I'm gonna move her to seconder, moved by Councillor Buckwald, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments, questions? I just had a question. Have we ever provided a donation to these people before?
We have not, this is the first time.
Because it's the first time they've asked. I'm
Yes.
assuming, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, any other comments, questions? I'll vote. Councillor Burns,
No.
Councillor Buckwald,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
yes,
Councillor Ricky Chantal,
no,
and I'm a no. So that's defeated. Item 9.2.3 is the provincial day of action on litter. I have a motion that council authorizes staff to post on the township social media accounts on May 9th, 2023 to officially recognize the provincial day of litter. And I'm gonna move her in a second, moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Ricky Chantal. Thank you. Comments, questions? Seeing none, Councillor Burt,
Yes.
Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Johnson,
Yes,
and a yes. Carried, thank you. Item 9.2.4 is the Township of Poacher Valley. I have a motion that the mayor be authorized to sign a letter of support for the Township of Poacher Valley in regards to reopening of Service Ontario in the village of Eganville. Moved by Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Buckle. Comments, questions? Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld.
it was an excellent service when we had Service Ontario in the community, especially that it was open on the weekend. I know lots of people from even Pembroke would come out there and they were buying a car or a trailer and get license plates. So to me, it is lost for the community and surrounding area. I know a lot of people now go up to Kellaloo on the weekend.
I would agree, it was used a lot and didn't seem to
No, it
have
was
the
used.
lineups that you would get in Pembroke. And they did provide a great service and. I'll call the vote, Councillor Burt,
Yes.
Councillor Buckle,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Johnson,
Yes,
and a yes, it's carried. Thank you. Excuse me, that brings us to bylaws. So bylaws, now therefore the Council of Algona Wilberforce to enact the following bylaw, being a bylaw 2023-22 to adopt the 2023 municipal budget estimates. Moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Buckle. Comments, questions? Seeing none, Councillor Burns,
Yes.
Councillor Buckle,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Johnson.
yes,
I'm a yes, that's carried, thank you. And 13.1 is the Recreation Committee. And I have a motion that NAW Council accepts the Recreation Committee report as presented and approves the listed recommendations. And I got a mover in a second, and moved by Councillor Buckle, seconded by Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld. Comments, questions? Seeing none, Councillor Burnt,
Yes.
Councillor Buckle,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Johnson,
yes,
and a yes. Carries, thank you. Item 14.4 is the Taste of the Valley. I have a motion that North Algona Wilberforce Township partners with the Township of Poacher Valley to host Taste of the Valley events in August of 2023 and 2024. And further agrees to provide funding for and entertainment costs not to exceed $1,000 per year. And I got a mover and a second, moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Buckle. Comments, questions? Councillor Lakers, roll call.
can we make any money by hosting?
I don't believe so.
So then we'd be responsible for the cost of cleanup and all that other stuff that goes along with hosting an event.
So, staff has contacted staff at Poacher Valley Township. And the information we were provided that, our share or our responsibilities were to help, provide funding for some advertising and some improvement costs.
Councillor Burke.
And we could offer to have it at the Snowdrifters.
Yeah, it could be an option, and I'm sure they would want to do it at, I think they have it at the Legion Field.
Yeah.
They might want to continue that this year, but we could certainly put that out as an option for the next year, for 2024.
Because for this year, I think we should make sure that the infrastructure is in place. Right, Legion Field is fully set up and ready for that, so it might be biting off a little too much for this year, but for 2024, that would be an excellent idea.
And for the case of Valley, there's a number of requirements that are needed.
That's right, Michelle.
And I believe if we're partnering with them, it would be nice too if they'd come to our township. Like, I mean, that would be great if we go to their township and we help offset the cost, but it would equally great if then in 2024 they could be in our township. As long as they know that.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Councilor Burke.
Yes.
Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Ricky Trumbull,
Yes,
and yes. Terry, and Dick. Are there any matters of urgency? Any notices of motion? We've done the reports from committees. That brings us to item 415. I have a motion that council will go into closed session pursuant to section 239(2)(b), F, and K of the Municipal Act regarding 3 personal matters about an identifiable individual, 1 regarding plans and instruction for negotiations, and 1 is advice subject to solicitor client privilege. And I got a move in a second, moved by Councilor Buckwell, seconded by Councilor Ray Schwab. Going to close at 7:36, Councilor Burge,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
yes.
Councilor Ray Schwab.
yes.
Yes, that's carried. We're closed. Recreation Committee, I have a motion that the clerk be directed to notify the applicants of their acceptance to the Recreation Committee. And I get a move in a seconder, moved by Councilor Ricky Trumbull, seconded by Councilor Burke. Councilor Burke,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Ricky Trumbull.
Yes,
Yes, that is carried. Thank you. Item 16. Excuse me, item 16.2 is the citizen concern. I have a motion that council acknowledges receipt of a confidential citizen concern form and direct staff to provide options for the discussed road. Moved by Councilor Buckwell, seconded by Councilor Ricky Trumbull. Councilor Burke,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
yes.
Councilor Ricky Trumbull.
yes.
Oh, yes, carried, thank you. Item 16.3 is Martha's Road. I have a motion that staff be directed to amend the road use agreement as discussed in closed. Moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Buckwell. Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Reggie Trumbull.
Yes,
And yes, carried, thank you. Item 16.4 is the RBC. I have a motion that council approves the RBC project agreement with Algonquin College and further authorizes the to sign the agreement on behalf of the township. Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Buckwell. Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
yes.
Councilor Reggie Trumbull.
yes.
And a yes, that is carried, thank you. Item 17 is our confirmatory bylaw. And that bylaw 2023 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council for May 2nd, 2023. Read a first and second time the second day of May 2023. And I'm going to move by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Buckwell. It was read a third time and finally passed the second day of May 2023. Councilor Burke,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Ricky Trumbull.
Yes,
And a yes, that's carried, thank you. And finally, May 2nd, 2023, regular council meeting adjourns 8:21 p.m. Moved by Council Bird, seconded by Council Ricky Schoenfeld. Council Bird,
Yes,
Council Buckles,
Yes.
Council Robinson. Council Robinson, okay.
Yes.
Council Ricky Schoenfeld,
Yes.
yes, that's carried. Thank you. We are adjourned.